All right, before we begin the episode, as always, we have our Patreon shoutouts. They are our sponsors of the show from Patreon. We have Eric Sari, Andy Herbrandt, Paul C., Lauren L., and Nate Hansen. Again, guys, thank you so much for keeping the lights on. You know, you're helping pay for these servers, which are not free. And actually, we've been in the red for a little while now, and we're hopefully we'll start getting out of that.
You know what they say, business, if you start one, you're not going to cut yourself a paycheck for the first 5 years.
Yeah, so. And the podcast continues to grow, but we really appreciate everything you've done for the podcast, guys. Eric, cue up that music.
Hey, welcome to the Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Sturgeon.
And I'm Russell Sari.
This podcast is about all things Wisconsin, history, music, culture, and beer. Although we don't often use strong language, the content is not intended for young audiences, so listener discretion is advised.
If you love the bluegrass music you hear in this intro, please check out Dang It's from Madison, Wisconsin by visiting their website, dang-its.com. Now on to the show.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. This is, of course, your weekly dose of the Dairy State. We are your hosts, Eric.
And I'm Russ.
And once again, we have another riveting piece of Wisconsin lore to break down for you today. This one is coming from the land of the fib, otherwise known as Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. They have slowly taken over that whole place.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this one. It's something I knew a little bit working at the Playboy Club, which was...
You worked at Grand Geneva.
Which was originally the Playboy Club. So I'm pretty excited to hear about this. I hope you guys are too. And it's kind of cool. We've been focusing on all these really cool studios here in Wisconsin. It's been like a theme, which is pretty
with
neat. Paramount.
Smart and Butch Vig and Paramount. And,
it's awesome.
And we will be discussing... a little-known recording gem that once existed at the Playboy Club, a.k.a. Grand Geneva, which is what it is now. But before we jump into that, we also wanted to remind you all, if you haven't, please like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff on the social medias. Leave us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts.
That'd be huge. Yeah, those are awesome.
Amazing.
I love reading them, too. They're great.
And YouTube, please. Hit subscribe, even if you don't even use your YouTube. It means so much to us and to the algorithm. It helps boost us in ways that, like I said, are just sort of unimaginable.
Yeah, and I know we've been in the talks too about possibly doing more video.
Yeah,
so once we get our new studio, hopefully up and running pretty soon here.
Yeah, as soon as we have the ability in the right place, we want to bring more of a video version of this to you as well to make it worthwhile on the YouTube. Right now, it's just listening to the episode, but hey, in the near future, you'll see us enjoying these libations and all that stuff.
How many beers we consume per recording? Holy smokes!
You will get wow. You will get a more personal understanding of just how much goes into this.
Yeah.
And honestly, all of those seemingly simple tasks have a huge effect for us and the overall reach that we're able to get to. So if you can, please do so. If you just want to tell somebody about us, do that as well.
Hey, Mike, check it out.
Hey, buddy, I'm listening to this show.
Check it out. Hey.
So also check out our website, WisconsinDrunkenHistory.com. We have not only the episodes are generally on there, but also links to our Patreon. Again, like we said at the top of the episode, those individuals kind of help keep things turning here, as well as like our TeePublic. So if you want to buy a t-shirt or some other logo memorabilia that we sell, that also kind of helps keep things turning and really supports us just to keep things going. And it's not a paycheck for us.
Right. If you guys do buy a shirt too, take a picture. We want to check out the quality and not only see our awesome fans in person, right? I mean, we don't get to see you guys. You just listen to us. And
I'd say post it on Instagram, tag us in there.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening. That's all we want to say at this point at the top of the episode. Let's go ahead and jump right in then on the main story. Again, this is the Playboy Club recording studio found in Lake Geneva. So the story actually begins south of the border. A man named Andy Waterman, who grew up in Dundee. It's a Chicago burb.
It's not Crocodile Dundee.
It's not Crocodile
Nicole,
Dundee.
they had a knife.
Yeah, this is
not that guy. Okay,
it's not a knife. Andy was a talented musician, often would cruise north of the border to play gigs in the Wisconsin area. He is noted as saying, some of the most creative bands I ever worked with came out of Wisconsin.
That's true.
He says today from his recording studio, and that's called Umbrella Media. So if you have a chance, check that out. That's near Los Angeles area.
Wow.
But they were marching to their own drummer. And a lot of the bands that came out of Milwaukee or Madison had a fresh take on music, whereas bands in Chicago were just sort of following the trends. He also once worked for McDonald's writing jingles for advertisements, and had worked on probably a number of the ones that we've heard.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. And so his dream, his passion, his goal was to work in recording, and he had sort of had that dream, all along. He said, anything to get into a recording studio, that was my mantra as a teenager. So, I mean, I would imagine he had the same dreams and goals as we did.
Yeah, when we were younger,
all we wanted was music,
be around
man.
music.
That's all we wanted to do for the longest time, man. So Waterman graduated from NIU, that's Northern Illinois University, in the mid-'70s, completing his undergraduate in music studies. Shortly thereafter, he learned of a small studio in nearby Lake Geneva, and that was called Castle Recording, which was owned and operated by Vern and Jan Castle, a husband and wife musical duo. Probably best known for writing and recording jingles for such iconic brands as Wrigley's Gum, Menards, and American Family Insurance.
Wow.
Some of those jingles that they're still used today. So like you just mentioned before we hit record, the save big money at Menards. We were not on that one.
No, it was close.
I didn't do that one justice. But anyway, amazing jingles were recorded right there in that Lake Geneva studio called Castle. Waterman took a job as a jack of all trades, and this is where he actually started to make his dream a reality. So he would produce, engineer, sing, and even sometimes pick up instruments whenever a jingle required him to. During this time, Waterman also picked up a little side gig playing in the house band at Lake Geneva's Playboy Club. The Playboy Club played an important role in drawing top-tier entertainment into their venue, which Waterman recognized and soon pitched the idea of expanding Playboy's entertainment business to include a recording studio.
Nice.
Which, Russ and I have kind of touched on a little bit here. We've both been to and worked at the Grand Geneva, which is like, it's the same grounds. A lot of the buildings that exist there they came about during this era. So the recording studio building is actually still there. None of the original equipment is in there, though.
I've actually been in there when I worked as a bellman. I got a key card one time and went in there. There's still some of the old stuff in there. I don't know about anymore, but when I was there, there's still some speakers and stuff left over, like just some like kind
of odds and ends.
Yeah, odds and ends left over in that studio.
So with the jingle business staying mostly flat, no real growth. It wasn't really dying. It wasn't really growing. It was just kind of staying stagnant. Waterman had bigger plans, and soon he would start to break ground when he struck a deal to purchase Castle Studios from Vern and Jan. The vision, with Alpine Valley Music Theater nearby, drawing the largest rock and roll acts of the time, and the Playboy Club playing host to most of them while they were in town, why not capitalize on this captive market and simultaneously introduce the country to a thriving Midwestern music scene? One 2-page pitch and a few meetings with suits later, Waterman had his green light on the project, and Playboy was set to move forward to join the recording arts business. So Walworth County officials issued the building permits necessary for a 35-foot by 25-foot building that would serve as Shade Tree Recording Studio, and this is sort of up in the air. A lot of the articles aren't sure exactly when, but it is noted that it maybe opened sometime in 1978.
Nice. It's like the rock era, man. That's awesome.
If you think about it, I mean, yeah, there's just a world of music to be released, after 1978.
Yeah.
So the earliest artist to jump on board was John Cougar Mellencamp. Yes, this is back when he still had Cougar in his name. But it didn't take long for the economy and reputations to affect the success, and a little cloud came over the Shade Tree recording studio. As the new decade approached, Playboy was no longer a trendsetter. Record labels were cutting budgets, like by a lot. And Waterman and his wife divorced, so a lot of things were happening to Waterman and the recording industry as a whole at this time. So by 1980, Waterman had left, and Shade Tree was now just trying to survive at the hands of Waterman's ex-wife Judy and another initial financial partner, Larry Schroeder. So those two are still trying to kind of make things work at this point. And again, it's in its infancy. We're talking only about 2 years into this whole project. So after Playboy sold the resort in 1982 to the Bass Brothers of Texas.
The Bass Bros.
Yeah, the old Bass Bro, baby.
Bass to mouth.
Ooh, that's it. That boat.
Yep.
So those guys are best known as the owners of the Americana resort chain. The studio sat empty then until about 1985 when Phil Bonanno opened it as Sound Summit. The studio became world-class when they upgraded their console to a Neve 8068 board.
I think we recorded on that board, actually,
Yes.
at Madison Media Institute, didn't we?
Yep. So it's a custom, all hand-wired. Neve are they're highly regarded as the best real true natural sound. They're just, the preamps and everything are amazing. One of the things that we didn't mention in last episode about Butch Vig is that Nevermind, the big iconic Nirvana album, was actually recorded at Sound City. It started demoing at Smart Studio in Madison, but only a few of those tracks were ever recorded. And you can still kind of find some of those demos today, which we'll talk a little bit about here in a minute. But I just wanted to kind of side tangent here. But the console at Sound City was a Neve that they had bought, and again, it's all hand wired, huge console. I mean, Russ, a board with, how many faders are on that fucking thing?
Oh, that thing was huge.
I mean, it's like 40, 48, whatever it is. It's a huge, track recorder. So, absolutely amazing boards and stuff. But so Sound Summit saw the likes of Survivor, Cheap Trick, Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi, Skid Row, Robert Plant, Nine Inch Nails, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. And that's just to name a few of the bands that sort of recorded there. But those are the most iconic, I would say. These iconic bands all have one thing in common. They have recorded hits at Sound Summit in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. That's right, I said it. In Lake Geneva.
Fib capital of
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
exactly. So, however, the studio remained largely underutilized and was often not scheduled for any sort of recording time. So most of the bands would book the studio to record songs, parts of songs, or even just mixing purposes. And this led to very poor finances. And at this time, the primary investors in the studio decided to kind of cut their losses and fold. So bands weren't booking, paychecks stopped, and eventually everyone just kind of walked away from this thing. But hey, guess what? This isn't where the story ends, all right? So sometime then in about late 1985 or early 86, enter a diamond importer named Ron Fagerstein. and the newly renamed Royal Recorders. Fagerstein enlisted the help of Phil Bonanno. He was in the last workings of Sound Summit. And it was Bonanno's connections and knowledge of the business that initially brought in all of the talent mentioned above. Many of those studio engineers returned to actually help in the supporting efforts of Royal Recorders, as well as it was at this time that Fagerstein mentioned money is no object. So he actually went on to purchase a larger console made by SSL, which is Sound Studio Logic, a brand that still exists today. They make a lot of home recording levels type stuff. SSL is big in they make rack consoles now instead of these big, looming 40 track recorders, So SSL, he purchased a brand new board. It was an 80 output solid state console, replacing the Neve 8068 tube console. Like I said, those used vacuum tubes instead of the new solid state transistors or some shit.
Everything's solid.
Yeah. So he also hired a new studio manager, Helen Tyler, who she was in her mid-20s and still very green in the business. So Fagerstein dumped a ton of money into the studio, but did little to help grow the clientele, and would eventually make the same financial decisions as the others and sell the studio to another dreamer. Somebody who just had a little bit more vision for this place. So enter Dan Harjung and Rich Denhart, two studio engineers from the failed Shade Tree and Royal Recorders studio. They decided that they had what it takes to make this thing successful. So in 1993, the studio officially became Music Head. A couple of successful records, Lives Throwing Copper.
We all know that one.
Exactly. And Crash Test Dummies.
Wow.
God Shuffled His Feet. Those were both almost entirely recorded at Music Head, which is crazy because the bands that we had kind of mentioned before, whole records weren't recorded at this place. It might have been a song or even just parts of songs. Sometimes the room is just right for vocals or the room is just right for drums. So they would track parts of songs, but for the most part, a lot of times the Shade Tree and all the places that this thing was called before would be for mixing and stuff. So this was new to them. These albums were almost entirely recorded at this studio. However, sometime in 1995, the phone once again stopped ringing, and the recording scene in Lake Geneva had almost completely run dry, which is crazy to think that there was even a clientele before then. But Harjung and Denhart, they gave the studio back to Fagerstein, who in an attempt to recoup some of his losses, decided to dismantle and sell the SSL console, which is rumored to be in the basement studio of R. Kelly.
Oh, man.
I mean, it probably smells like pee.
Oh yeah, there's some wee wee on toilet chicks' faces in there. Yeah, it's bad. Right?
It's not good. So
it's stained with piss.
The story here is, it's wild because we're talking about Lake Geneva. It's probably a good 40 miles away from Chicago, and it's it's a country kind of feel.
Yeah, yeah.
And to even think that there was a clientele or business that would want to record there is wild to me.
And I don't know. I've always heard these rumors, and I've never known if they were true. And I've even looked it up, and there's like a lot of speculation on it. But for things like Aretha Franklin, Our Respect was recorded there, and Paradise City by the Guns N' Roses, as it was referencing Lake Geneva as the Paradise City, which I don't know how you reference the one strip of shops, the Paradise City, but I mean, people love it, right? I mean, it's packed every single year, so there must be something there that I'm missing that I haven't seen.
I think it's just an allure, a shimmer that we don't see because we live here,
Maybe we've driven through there a million times, maybe, you think?
Well, as we grew up in Elkhorn, and Lake Geneva is a 5-minute drive, and being that close to it, I think for us, it was mostly... just not, it wasn't what it was to everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, you're leaving the big city to come to kind of a small country.
Yeah, to them,
beautiful lake, I guess.
Exactly.
So maybe that's more what it was.
You're hitting on the perfect thing right there. A few restaurants, a few little tiny shops, a beautiful lake. That's just something that the city folk don't see, and this was the perfect area for it. And the resort that Grand Geneva is, and it's an amazing place. And for that to have been the Playboy Club at one point in time, I know we touched very lightly on that in this episode. That could be an episode of its own, as the Playboy Club in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. But we really wanted to touch on the recording aspect of it, because as Russ sort of kind of talked about earlier, that original Neve console, it was sold to Madison Media Institute. That was in their Studio B, I believe it was, or Studio 2. And Russ and I had a chance to actually record on that board. Yeah. And one of the individuals from Guns N' Roses had actually etched or carved his name into the board, so we got a chance to see that. And we recorded a 3-track on that. Mm-hmm. And just an absolutely cool story that, remains sort of mysterious. I really wish that somebody really close to this whole thing would make some sort of a page devoted to that. Tell us the stories of this, because it doesn't exist right now. A few articles were written by some really local Lake Geneva papers and whatever, but it nothing big. I just want to see more. I need to know the real history. We were only able to find these few things, and like I said, it remains sort of mysterious.
Yeah, the cool thing about the Playboy Club is we had some teachers that were maybe a little bit older, but they're still smoking hot, and a lot of them used to be Playboy bunnies at the mansion, which is crazy to us. I mean, I still think they're kind of hot, but I mean, hey,
we're not going to drop names though.
No, but we know who they are. We know who you are.
Yeah.
We're keeping an eye on you, if you will. So.
Awesome. Well, that was our main segment, and that was the story of the Playboy Club recording studio. Now on to our music segment, and this whole episode is kind of like a music segment if you think about it, but this one is by a band called Versio. The song is called Recess. Russ, they're like Milwaukee indie.
Yeah, you're getting like an indie feel, kind of has that upbeat feel to it. I really like these guys. I mean, they're another one out of Milwaukee that are probably going to do something big, and we're doing whatever we can on the show to get that word out there for them, because these guys are awesome. They put out some new albums. I think Quit came out. Some of their other ones. And I love these guys from Milwaukee, Wisconsin too. So.
Yeah. And again, I mean, you can just sort of hear it looming in their music that it's destined to take that next step. And it's something that you could easily hear on like 102.1.
Oh yeah. Alternative station for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. And, it transfers to the stage as well. When you see these, this band live, they're just so damn good.
Agree.
And in fact, I think like with a lot of music, it's better when you just see it live. And I'm not saying that to take anything away from the recording. It's just I feel like you have to put on your best hat to do this take and have it be like this thing. And it just recording is such a mindless process. You're trying to capture lightning in a bottle, if you will, when in fact the music itself is just, it's a thing that changes kind of as you go.
Yeah, I think, this song, I think you chose a good one to kind of highlight the band too.
Yeah.
And, has a lot of that guitar pieces, that indie guitar. Got some effects on there, like maybe some overdubbing of vocals. Like this is just a good showpiece for them, right? And I think these guys are going to do something really large.
Yeah. So this is Versio Kurz, Recess.
Sacrifice me. listen to a word out of my mouth.
Holy smokes.
That was good.
God dang it.
Holy cow, Barb. Go and check it out.
Oh, man. Would you ever? This is a great piece of Milwaukee music. I just absolutely love it. Versio Cures, they're phenomenal musicians, and the music that they're producing, like we said, feels like it could take that next step at any moment. So we are now on to our beverage review segment, which is a staple of the show. And Russ, tell us what we have in our hands today.
Yeah, so this is a new beer I've never actually had from a new company I've never had. So I'm really excited for this one. Today we're drinking a company brewing beer called Space Whistle. Ooh, doggy, it's good. And It is a Mosaic IPA coming in at 6.5% ABV. And the can art, again, really awesome, right? It kind of has like these little like worm dudes that are in the shape of an S and W. One is orange, one is pink. Just a really cool can art. I mean, we always talk about how awesome the can art is, but this one's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think that I think they're all the new brews in these craft beers are understanding that, like, hey, the thing that's going to draw me to your beer over somebody else's is some really sick art. Yeah. And that's exactly what we have here with Space Whistle. And it's a Mosaic IPA coming in at 6.5%. It's a hoppy beer.
Yes.
You're tasting for sure the
Mosaic's coming through right away. Right,
100%.
We've done these smash beers like this where that Mosaic comes through.
The Mosaic hits
hard.
hard.
Yeah. And you know, this one also has a little upfront bitter, but it actually is going down really smooth and giving you that like Mosaic taste. But you're definitely getting some bitter up front. At least I am right away.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%. Yeah. So like you said, it's definitely an IPA, and it definitely shows. And like you said, it's a smash hop, so it's one hop straightforward. It's Mosaic, and that's what you're getting.
And so, Eric, I mean, it sounds like we're gonna have to get Company Brewing on the show because I've actually never heard of Company Brewing, and maybe we're gonna have to go and check this one out. Maybe get a behind the scenes because I'm really interested.
Yeah, but I think on Center Street in Milwaukee. I've been to the brewery.
You have, okay.
Yeah, just
pretty neat facility and everything. Yeah,
I don't remember too much about it because it's been a few years.
Yeah.
Maybe just before COVID or something like that. But anywho, yeah, the beer that they're producing out of there is really good. I think we'll probably have another one. So they did a couple releases along with Space Whistle. There's a couple other new ones that I found on the shelf. So that'll be something that we check out, I know, on another future episode. But they're just so good.
Yeah, I mean, this one, like, it has like the perfect carbonation. It's pouring that like dark golden color like an IPA should.
Which
it's delicious.
It's when you say it has the perfect carbonation, it that shouldn't be taken lightly. It's very difficult to get the perfect carbonation when you're talking about canning a beer.
Right.
The process in which you do that, if it's over carbonated, it can also start to re-ferment in the can. It can obviously explode when you open it. Mm-hmm. Those are all things that can happen when you over carbonate a beer. So to find that perfect balance, it's not easy.
Right. And, you know, it's nice. You take a sip of it, you get a little bit of that bubbly on your tongue. You can feel it right away.
Exactly.
But, you know, even for us with the home brewing, I mean, like, carbonation is such key. I mean, there was times where we wanted to drink the beer, so we forced carbonated, rolling kegs on the floor. Remember that?
Yeah.
So we rolled kegs to try to get that carbonation there so we could drink it right away. But normally got to let that sit for a while. But whatever they did to get this carbonated, they did a great job. And I hate to focus on the carbonation because the beer is really good, but carbonation's a huge thing for me.
It is.
Right? I mean, especially with an IPA, it has to have that perfect carbonation. You don't want to overcarb, you want it like perfect. And I think they did a great job in this one.
Yeah.
Very well crafted. And Eric, where did you find this beer?
So this one was from Total Wine.
From Total Wine?
Yeah. And again, I can't say enough about Total Wine in their selection of craft beers from right here in Wisconsin. They do a great job of keeping the shelves stocked with new stuff and good, refreshing stuff.
Yeah, no, it's great. I can't wait to pick up another one and try some more beers from them. And I really hope we can get them on the show because this beer is phenomenally crafted. And I'm really surprised I haven't heard of this one, to be honest. Like, and I know a lot of the breweries around here, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we're friends with some of the people at a lot of these breweries.
Yeah, we've really, because of this show, we've had a really good opportunity to sort of befriend a lot of the craft brewers here, especially in the Milwaukee area, but also, out by you in Beloit, with G5 and stuff.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal beer. This is from Company Brewing. The one that we are drinking is Space Whistle.
Grab a seat, gather round, join us for a chat. How many locos you have?
All right, folks, you know what that means. Eric, how many locos you have?
We're about to tell you another dastardly tale of the DUI.
Ooh.
And this one, whoa, she looks rough.
Yeah.
So
she's tired of these goddamn kids, and you'll find out why.
Driver's ed teacher driving student driver, car arrested for OWI. Oh, sorry, I read that stupid. Let me do that again.
She's driving the
driver ed teacher driving the student driver car is arrested for OWI.
Not a good.
Yeah, never a good time. So this individual was cited for OWI first offense near Whitehall, which is actually pretty close to where my dad is from. And so Whitehall, Wisconsin, a Whitehall police officer arrested a driver's education instructor for her OWI first offense on Sunday morning. The Whitehall Police Department said that this individual of Independence was driving a student driver car when she weaved all over the road, crossed the yellow center line multiple times. That was Sunday at about 8:10 in the morning. Oof. Holy shit.
Dang. That was an early start.
Yeah. I shouldn't have been on the road that early.
No.
After making, holy shit, Quick Trip's involved here.
Oh, no.
A police officer followed this individual as she pulled into a Quick Trip parking lot at Dewey and Park Streets, where 4 juveniles approached the driver and began talking to her. The officer assumed they were to be picked up for driving lessons by this instructor. The officer then approached her and asked if she had been drinking, according to the police report. So the individual told the officer she had a glass of wine with her supper last night. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that should be gone by now.
Yeah,
8:10 in the morning, but yeah.
But hasn't had a drink since. I'm telling you what, a glass of wine at supper last night isn't going to make you weave all over the damn place. She also said, I guess, that she takes medication each morning and has codeine in it. So I guess, codeine can typically make you a little drowsy. So she said that may have been the reason for the erratic driving behavior. So
let's see what else we got.
Yeah. So after performing a field sobriety test, the individual was arrested and cited for OWI. Her preliminary breath test was 0.108.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's more than codeine. That's not
wine.
The codeine either. That's a little more.
Yeah,
on here. So, oof.
The officer explained to the students and parents waiting in the Quick Trip parking lot that this individual would not be able to instruct them for Sunday's driving lessons.
Oh, man.
Well, 0.108.
Yep.
Glass of wine at supper last night.
Well, 0.108. I don't know if that was a glass, but that might have been a whole bottle. But yeah, she's a little bit older lady. It's her first offense.
Yeah.
So she probably doesn't have a tolerance, but the 0.108 is a little concerning, right? That's might have been more than a bottle of wine, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more than a glass at supper.
And this is 8:10 in the morning, so this wasn't early. This was a breakfast brew.
Well, that's what I mean. So, if this was the night before, 0.108 is still a high level if somebody got 8 hours of sleep. Let's just even say that she went to bed at midnight. 0.108's large.
Yeah,
at 8 a.m.
Even if you consume 3 bottles of wine, you'd be okay by that point, right?
So this is kind of rough. I think she's lying about what she had when she had it. It's certainly not whatever medication she has. If it's like Tylenol 3 with codeine makes you a little drowsy. I will admit that, but it won't make you blow a 0.108.
Yeah, A little bit older, first offense though, so it might be a little lower on my local scale, to be honest with you. Like she's still functioning. She's just a little like maybe buzzed or tipsy, kind of, and why the officer questioned her in the first place. Like maybe she's acting a little weird.
No, and you know it does say that. So it definitely makes me. It definitely makes me feel like you know the weaving in and out of the center line a couple times. I mean, .108 is .108. You can't get out of that.
That's, yeah.
But also, if your driving's impaired, I mean, that's even worse.
Yeah, plus she's a driver instructor, so I'm guessing she's not going to be teaching kids how to drive for a while.
Well, I don't think, I certainly don't think that that's going to be in her future much longer. So
do you have your number, Eric? I think I got a pretty good number on this one.
I mean, I think I have an idea. I don't know.
I'm going to shout mine out and see where you're at, too. We're going to do it on 3.
All right. Yeah,
3, 2, 1, 8.
6.
8 loco. So we'll go with a 7 loco, the Siete on this one.
Yeah. I think
that's a good range. I mean, I don't think she's like ridiculous. I think she just doesn't have a lot of tolerance build up. First offense. I mean, she's an older lady, so first offense. I mean, that's she made it this long without getting one. And, you know, so I don't think she's an alcoholic. I don't think she can handle a lot of booze.
I think that's the case here. Is that, you know, I think the age and then maybe the fact that she's not super into to drinking hard. You know, we've had plenty of cases out here that these individuals are elderly but also really experienced and seasoned drinkers. I don't think that's the case here. I think it's not a glass of wine, that's for sure.
It's definitely a bottle with her scrambled eggs. I think a bottle
for sure.
With her scrambled eggs.
Yeah, she definitely had a couple of morning bloodies or something else.
Oh yeah, and I feel so bad for these people too. Like the intake photos are always the worst. I mean, I've seen some of my friends look haggard. Like they didn't do a great job on this one.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah,
she's got a scrape right on the tip of her nose there.
They really roughed this photo up, and she looks probably rougher than she really is. I mean, that's always the intake photos. I mean,
yeah.
But no, I think a 7 loco is safe on my end. Do you want to sound the gavel, Eric? All right, today we're here with Paul from PetSkull Brewing in Manitowoc. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing awesome. It's hard not to do awesome when you own a brewery.
I know.
Oh, yeah, you got
dude,
the
you're living the damn life.
There's certain days that's not quite living the dream, but for the most part, there's worse ways to earn a living, I'll tell you that.
I can definitely feel you on that.
So, Paul, can you give us a little background on PetSkull Brewing, the name and how you guys got your start?
So, we started a small tap room and a small 4-barrel brewery here in downtown Manitowoc back in 2017. I had a really good day job. I taught at a technical college. I taught IT. I mean, I had a great job, but it was kind of disappointed that Manitowoc didn't have any craft breweries. And so after many years of trying to convince my wife that that's the right thing to do, we found this little space in downtown Manitowoc where, you know, our tap room was maybe 35 people, and like I said, a small little 4-barrel brewing system that, you know, we built and cobbled together. And man, it took off. I mean, and I think the people of Manitowoc just really gravitated towards it because like we didn't have anything like that. And most recently, here within the last 2 months, we have since relocated to a beautiful, a lot bigger building. It's a beautiful 2-story, 100-year-old Cream City brick building where
nice.
Now we've got a really big tap room that we can probably fit about 175 people in. We put in a beautiful 10-barrel brewing system. So, you know, and I have since quit the day job. So this is it, man. Yeah. This is all I'm doing. And so we've been at it. PetSkull Brewing has been a thing for about 4 years.
Damn. High five to you, man. Hats off to completely realize the dream then at that point. And we have yet to make it up there, but I went up there actually at the height of COVID last year and just sort of went around and drove. We just literally took a quick cruise to Manitowoc because we just wanted to see the area. And you're right. There just wasn't that one thing, you know, that's kind of what we were talking about. And, you know, we didn't make it through, I don't think the heart of downtown, but I'm so glad that you exist up there.
Yeah.
Like everybody needs a fine craft beer and they need it in their hometown. Damn it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was what we were disappointed about. I mean, we would travel to small cities when we'd be on vacation, and we'd always hit these places up just like everybody else does, right?
Yeah.
I was like, man, how come Manitowoc doesn't have anything? And like I said, man, I had a great day job, and I was just a home brewer, and just kept thinking somebody will, and finally got to the point where, holy, for the love of God, it was me. I did it.
Nobody
I can't
will
believe it. I just can't believe it to this day. So, like I said, we've been rolling for 4 years, and then just back in March, Manitowoc got their second one, which is Sabbatical Brewing Company, on the west side of town. So now they're rolling as well. So now we got two. There's rumblings about maybe a third. So I think we're starting to get on the map a little bit with craft beer.
Awesome, Paul.
Yeah.
And with PetSkull Brewing, is there any new beers we need to check out like immediately, our audience?
Well, I'm a big guy where we love to brew with the seasons.
Yeah.
So with fall coming up here, we've got this upcoming week actually is going to be we're putting out our campfire song. It's a caramel coffee brown ale, which is perfect for the fall season. We got a pecan nut brown coming up. Of course, our Oktoberfest is coming up soon. We're having our big Oktoberfest party on the 18th of September. And then we always do every year. We do an Imperial Pumpkin ale. A lot of people do pumpkin beers, but we do an Imperial. It's about 8.5%. We keep it lightly spiced because we didn't want the spice to be the focus. We wanted a nice big malty spiced beer.
Right.
But then we serve it with a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on the rim if wanted. So,
shoot!
It just kind of makes it very, very cool. So those are some kind of the cool things we got coming up in the next month here at the Old Skull.
I'll tell you what, it's like when the places do the Bloody Mary with that little bit of salt and spices on the rim. I love that.
It's basically the same kind of idea, right? Somebody gave me that idea about doing it. I'm like, that'd be freaking fantastic.
Now,
so we sell a ton of that, man.
Now, when you do that on the rim like that, are you judging people when they're licking the whole outside of that rim like that?
Oh, I like it, man. Men and women alike, man. I get into it.
That's what I'm into. I just want to make sure because, I always get that. And then I see other people around me and they're just kind of leaving it there. And I'm like, I need to tongue the rim on this baby. Because I'm not going to leave all the I'm not going to leave all the tastiness here.
That's it. I'm going to make a shirt. The name of that beer is the Jacked Up Lantern, we call it.
Yep.
So it's going to be the Jacked Up Lantern on the back. It says, lick the rim.
I love it.
Just tongue the rim, man. I am into
tongue
it.
The rim.
I'm into it.
I'm into it. Well, I like it. Good.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the seasonal beers like you're saying. And I think that craft beer is all about that. That's the reason why it was created is, hey, we don't always just want the straight up pale ale or the lager, we want a little something that's, carefully crafted,
Yeah. And it's fun because, it does change it up. We do have our staples. You brew those over and over and over again, and you have to because they sell like crazy. But what really brings people in the door are those beers that are constantly kind of rotating, and the best ones are like the seasonal ones. So, man, it's one of my favorite parts about this industry is just brewing for the seasons.
Well, I guarantee we're gonna set aside some time and we're gonna hit up PetSkull and we're gonna see everything that you got to offer up there.
Fantastic. I'd love to have you guys.
I can't wait.
So before we get into the next segment, talking about that, is there any events we need to look out for from PetSkull to come check you guys out?
Good point.
Yeah, well, definitely. So I mentioned before that on Saturday, September 18th, we're having our 4th annual Munich and Manitowoc Oktoberfest party. We've been, like I said, this is going to be our 4th year, and it's always been a great event. That's the day we tap our Oktoberfest. So we don't even have our Oktoberfest on tap yet. I wait until that day. We got the inaugural keg, that we tap. And, last year was a little bit low attendance because of COVID. We were still coming out of COVID there. But the year before, we had 600-700 people attend. Here in Manitowoc, I thought that was really good. So that's going to be on Saturday the 18th from 2 until 10. I got the Ryan Kautzer Orchestra playing. We're going to do some fine array of polkas. We'll have some rock, and good stuff. So, no, it's going to be a good time. And now we've got a lot more space because we're in this big facility. We got a huge 2,500 square foot patio as well. So that's where we'll set up the beer wagon and the band. And I think it should be a pretty good event to drink beers. And so,
hey, I don't normally need a real reason to drink beer, but I always appreciate one.
Right. It always makes me feel good when it's like, well, I really should do that instead of
Yeah.
I want to.
I'd really like to celebrate today, and PetSkull's really giving me a reason here.
And that's what we're here for. Here, hey, I'm here to help.
And I appreciate it more than anybody. And you know what? God, what a delicious sounding beer. Now, what else we have here is a delicious segment that we like to call "How Scotty Are You?" And like I said, it's not. We're not here to grill you. Like there is no there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just
perfect.
It's a lot of fun. So
let's do it, man. I'm in.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in.
Yeah, go ahead, Eric. You do this.
With the inaugural game kicking off yesterday, have you ever participated in the jump around at Camp Randall Stadium?
I have. Yes, I have.
See?
Boom.
I knew it.
Off the bat.
And off the bat, he hits a dinger. Like, we're in.
Yeah.
And
I'm in.
Even though yesterday,
pull an ACL doing it, but I'm all right.
Trust me, I play volleyball on Tuesdays, and I tear an ACL every single week. So
every week I tear my ACL.
Yes, I have a new ACL for every week, and hey, even though yesterday was a loss for the Badgers, hey, I'm glad that you participated in the best thing and the greatest tradition that there is at Camp Randall. Now,
you got it, bud. You got it.
Have you ever eaten a squeaky cheese curd?
Of course.
Oh,
yeah,
dumb,
of course.
right?
Fresh. I mean, it's really fresh from a. You go to a cheese company and you get them fresh right off the whatever the line.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
right out of the udder.
See, I'm not quite that Scotty. I didn't not out of the udder, but pretty close.
It squeaked right out of the teat and right into your mouth.
Hit the nip to tip.
Right out of the teeth.
Nip to tip, he said.
So the next one I got for you, in this one I always ask, when it comes to PetSkull Brewing, if we're going to make a beer brat, is there a beer you recommend from PetSkull we got to try out?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, it just kicked last night, but we got another batch coming. It's our Harry Doyle Jr. It's our Czechoslovakian Pilsner.
Harry Doyle.
It's a Harry Doyle, named after Bob Uecker's character.
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
Harry Doyle, just a bit outside.
It's called the Harry Doyle Jr. As a matter of fact, we've got a friend that makes brats in his kitchen. He can't sell them; he just makes them for fun.
Yeah,
and we give him Harry Doyle all the time, and that's what he makes the brats out of. So I know for a fact it works.
Oh, nice.
I am in. Is there any way that if we coordinate a visit to PetSkull, is there a way that we can get some Harry Doyle brat?
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll make some Harry Doyle brat. We'll make them up. We'll go out the back door. We'll get the grill fired up. We'll have a couple tree beers and then have some brats. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect. And now you're not. I mean, you're up there. You're up north. It's Manitowoc. Clearly.
North, yeah.
Where do you consider to be up north?
I think when I think of up north, I think of anything north of Crivets.
Okay, yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, Crivets is. I mean, it's known for cabins, man.
Yeah. I think anything north of Crivets is considered up north. Anything else is northeast Wisconsin.
Okay, and you know what? I respect that because that's kind of. I mean, that's a line that we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Sure.
Most of the time we talk about like Highway 8, Wausau, anything north of that.
Highway 8 is, right.
But hey, who are we to draw that definitive line? We're not even up there.
I understand, but it's all good for discussion. Let's put
exactly. It's all relative.
We got a couple more for you. So this one I always ask because I like to see people's musical taste. But have you been to Summerfest? And if you've been there, is there a band you really love that you enjoyed seeing there?
Well, as a matter of fact, I was just there last night.
Holy smokes!
As a matter of fact, it's fresh in my mind. My daughter and I went to go see 21 Pilots at the amphitheater.
Nice.
I love 21 Pilots.
It was fantastic. It's the third time I've seen them. These guys are amazing. They put on a crazy good show. I don't know why I'm promoting them. They don't pay me to talk about them. But
and true to fashion, I think the musicianship between the two guys there is just lights out. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of historic bands that are two members. who is it?
Black Keys.
Yeah, White Stripes. Black Keys, and then there's one more that I'm forgetting the name, and I've seen them before, but I'll think of it later. But I mean, it truly is, and I've been in bands where there've been like 7 members, and it's hard enough to create good enough music to do that. But out of 2 guys, 2 individuals, that's amazing. So that's really cool.
If your listeners haven't listened to those guys yet, put them on. They are hit writing machines, and I'm a metalhead by trade. All right, I'm a metalhead. But
Iron Maiden.
The first time I saw these guys, Slayer, Anthrax,
Slayer,
cool stuff.
So 20 Pilots,
21 Pilots, yeah.
Make 21 Pilots. Make your royalty checks out to PetSkull Brewing when you send them into the studio.
Yeah, and
lick
if they
the
don't
rim.
Mind, if they don't mind, it's PetSkull Brewing Company LLC, just so we can be
perfect.
clear.
Gotcha on the check. All right.
And another one that we have for you here. This one is we haven't had a whole lot of success on this one.
Okay, let's hear it.
But have you ever milked a cow?
I have milked a cow.
Okay, good.
Great. Wow, that's pretty impressive, to be honest.
That is.
I don't consider myself a farmer, but back in the day, I had some friends that had a farm, and I went and helped, in air quotes, milk, because I wanted to milk a cow one time in my life. So I got down there, I put the the fluminigas on the udders, and
you got it. Yep.
Whatever. Yeah.
Did you dress them first? You had to put the gunk on there, wipe them off, put it on, put the udder. Yeah, the whole deal.
Yep, I think I did. Yeah, we did it all. It was years ago. So I put the gunk on, on the udders. I gunked up the udders, and then I put on the Hasima. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Paul. Before we let you go, this is probably the toughest one for brewery owners. We always ask this one. So besides obviously PetSkull Brewing, which we're making our way up soon, is there another brewery tap room that you suggest? And it doesn't have to be in Wisconsin. One of your favorite tours you've been on.
Oh man,
it's the toughest question.
I know.
Yeah, well, right, because I mean, there's so many good ones, right? And you're right. If it doesn't necessarily have to be Wisconsin, I think the one thing I was able to check off my bucket list about 5 years ago, I was able to get to Santa Rosa, California, and I went to Russian River Brewing Company.
Wow.
And I was able to have like Pliny the Elder fresh on tap.
Nice.
Always one of the top rated, IPAs, double IPAs, whatever it is. And,
that's like that's the coveted one,
Right, and I was able. I had it in bottles a few times, but I was actually able to go to the tap room and have one of their pizzas and drink that fresh on tap. To me, that was a massive bucket list thing for me. The next thing on my bucket list, people always say, "Paul, you're going to get over to Oktoberfest." I'm like, you know what? I want to go to Belgium. I want to go to Belgium, and I want to do a tour of the monasteries, and I want to drink awesome Belgian beer made by monks. That's my long-term goal.
And I think when you do go to Oktoberfest as a Wisconsinite, you're actually cut off. Like you can only have a certain amount of beers, right? Isn't that true?
I think I have heard that. That's why I'm not going. I'm
not looking forward to that. I don't want to be told that I've had enough. You'll know when I've had enough. I'll have piss on the front of my shorts, and I'll tell you
when I've had enough.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
You have enough of those German boots. You look like Payless shoes in front of you when you got like a whole set.
I think we feel each other.
We're on the same page here. I know it. Hey, you know what, Paul? I'm super happy and super excited that we were able to sit down and have this chat. I'm obviously grateful that you were able to take the time out today. This is a busy weekend holiday here, so I'm just really, really grateful that you were able to take some time out of your busy schedule in order to talk to us, and I'm really grateful. And when we get up there, we'll schedule something and we'll meet you up there.
That's always great. Hey, I appreciate you guys thinking of me, wanting me on the show. I love talking about PetSkull. I love talking about beer. I love talking about Manitowoc. So keep up the good work, man.
All right, Paul.
Thank you so much, Paul. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
Take care, guys. See ya.
All right, bye. All right, that concludes this episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast.
If you enjoyed this vulgar display of Wisconsin, please like and subscribe on whatever streaming platform you prefer. And remember to hit the bell on YouTube to be notified when we release new content.
Also, if you have any suggestions or ideas for future episodes, please send us an email at widrunkenhistory@gmail.com or head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages.
Thanks again for listening, and remember, as always,
Watch out for deer on your way home.